All right, Shalom. I want to begin this lesson by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the sincere brethren out there that's laboring in his work. So yeah, this lesson is going to be focusing in on the false prophets amongst Israel, which you see an example on the screen, all right, who come in the form of these guys, Shah Israelites, tried and refined, and the men over there in Detroit, the Good Samaritans, which there's a lot of false prophets, throughout Israel, but in this lesson I want to focus in on those two groups, all right? Because in my humble opinion, out of all these different groups who became scoffers and scorners and reprobates, the two proudest groups, or should I say the two groups who are spearheaded by the most proudest men, in my opinion, comes from those two groups, all right? ITR and Good Samaritans. And what make them proud is they show no respect for the very men who taught them this truth, all right? And on any level, that's not honorable, man. In the streets, whether it's sports, a trade, the person that turned you on to something, you should have a reserved, even if you fall out with that person, a man with honor, he would reserve his comments, just due to respect, because a real man, they'll go their own way, and they might have a problem, but they'll look at it like, well, this person, they turned me on to the profession that I'm in, all right? But these guys, the reason why I'm highlighting them, and this video is not about them, it's just about pretty much how not to be in this truth, and these guys is going to be used as an example. A matter of fact, before I really go into it, let me go ahead and get a quick scripture, all right? The book of Romans, the 16th chapter, in the 17th verse, it says, "Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them," right? So scriptures say mark them, all right? Which basically goes back to scope, which put the scope on, all right? So it's a method to, the sincere brothers, when we do certain lessons, highlighting guys and putting the scope on certain guys, because it's to mark them so you could be aware, all right? You could be aware of wolves out there, ravening wolves, man, who have snuck into this truth unaware, all right? We that's the part, that's why we hate it in the first place. We put guys on blast. We picked up on that. We continue that legacy from our elders, the apostles. We wouldn't have never knew that General Yohana and Nate, these guys was, eventually, if you were part of the elect, you wouldn't have been overthrown. But the reason why we know of these reprobates, General Yohana and Bubble Eyes, all right, Tazadakia, the self-proclaimed comforter. Reason why we know about those guys, because our teachers and our elders, they practice this scripture right here. They mark those guys, all right, who cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine. So, that's why I'm really doing this lesson. But again, it's not about these guys, but what I want to show you, all right, I want to show you something. You go to these guys, you go to this guy, Uploads, all right? Now you see, he put up a video a week ago, all right? But prior to that, it was a month, all right? It was a whole month and some change before this guy put up a video. And why is that of importance? Because this is proof that this guy don't share the qualities or characteristics of one that's, becoming of a man of the Lord. A man of the Lord would be diligent, man, in season, out of season. and they can't bag out of that, because prior to that they were somewhat diligent. You know, they weren't going out, you know, but an hour, sometime an hour and some change. But you see, they was going out. Now, the reason why you see these guys becoming weary is scriptural, man, because they are not connected to the branch. They're withering away. What you're witnessing right now is the withering away of these false prophets. Now, I want to get these guys, the Good Samaritans. I want to go to their page real quick. You go to their videos. Now, you know, I'm gonna be fair. They did a lesson, a sit down 6 days ago, and that's sloth. All right. But you got to go a whole month, see, a month and some change before they was out on the highways and byways, man. And the reason why I'm going, and really when you go into all these scoffers and scorners, even this guy Yakanan, you go to his page, this guy haven't put up a parody video, a scoffing video. It's been 2 weeks with him. See? And even when you go to these other scoffers, these well-known scoffers, Malak Shah, this guy haven't been out in a month. All right? So what you're witnessing is these guys withering away. All right? And this is St. John chapter 15 and verse 5. I am the vine, you are the branches. He that abideth in me and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me ye can do nothing. If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch and is withered. See? And these guys, and in particular the head guy at ITR, his main rallying cry is, look, we don't need to be, we ain't got to be under men. You don't have to learn from men. Just read for yourself. All right? He even went as far as saying that 1 John, the 2nd chapter, in the 19th verse, which we use that scripture to identify these guys that who are no longer with us. He said that that's not talking about Great Millstone. Well, what you got to realize, the Lord used an example. It's a tree and a branch. And when you consider a tree, all right, you got the tree, then you got branches, thick branches. And as it moves outward, the branches become smaller and smaller. But in order for those smaller branches to keep thriving, they got to stay connected to the bigger branches, man. So when y'all guys broke off, you know, you broke off from Yahweh Shah, because you got to go through the men to get to Yahweh Shah. You got to stay connected to that branch. And one thing about a branch, you might break it off. It might appear to still be a branch, but over time it's going to wither away. And again, that's what you're witnessing from these guys, all right? So it says, if a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch and is withered, and men gather them and cast them into the fire, and they are burned. See? So ultimately, the Lord is going to reserve a lot of you guys. He's going to preserve a lot of you guys, and you're going to taste those nuclear missiles, man. Because you didn't bow out gracefully and just go your separate way. You took it upon yourself to attempt to debunk and discredit the very men that taught you, man. There's no honor in that. All right? And with you guys, you come across as if you concerned about Israel. You know, I'm just trying to, you guys lead that cult. You know, you wait till the apostles, you go back and examine, you know, do an examination on the breakdowns, and then you come back, see, you off on that. Well, if you doing that in sincerity, then why aren't you diligent? All right, if you really doing that because you concerned about the flock, you don't want them to be caught up in the web of Great Millstone, why aren't you accessible, man? It might be guys that want to roll up on you, man, but you ain't been out on the highways and byways. And even with the sit downs, man, you're not thorough, man. All right? So even in that, you're not listening to Yahweh Shah. All right, they like to say, you know, we don't have to hear men. You know, when the apostles got on them guys for going out for an hour, their response was, well, we don't go out for you, you know? It don't take us that long to break down. Well, what about you putting up videos? What about you being diligent? What about you teaching the flock? That's not of Great Millstone. That's of Yahweh Shai. So you disobeying Yahweh Shai, all right? This is the book of St. John. Chapter 21, verse 17, he said unto him the third time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? Peter was grieved because he said unto him the third time, lovest thou me? And he said unto him, Lord, thou knowest all things. Thou knowest that I love thee. Yahweh Shai said unto him, feed my sheep. So you guys, you're not, this is a commandment. You're not following this commandment. Yahweh Shai said, if you love me, feed my sheep. And when you go to your guys' page, your sheep gotta be starving, man. All right? Your sheep gotta be starving, man. Because you guys are not regularly feeding the flock. So no matter what your problem you got with GMS or Great Millstone, you're not listening, hearkening to what Yahweh Shai told you to do, man. If you guys are so wise, you'll have it all figured out. And again, if you guys were so wise, you'll go out on the highways and hedges. Why haven't you been out in a month? All right? But it proves that you are not wise. This is Proverbs 1:20. Wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the streets. So for a whole month, you guys haven't uttered your voice, man, in the streets. Now again, it took a month and some change for the lineup king and his goons to go out. See? But again, that's not being diligent. The scripture speaks about being diligent, man. All right? So overall, the overtone of this lesson is when you, hey, Yahweh Shai said, a tree is known by its fruit. So when you put everything together, you know, the formula, you come to the conclusion, these guys are false prophets. And the scripture warned us about that, man. All right? 2 Peter 2:1, but there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privately shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that brought them. And that's what they're doing. When they deny the apostles who brought them, you know, it is Yahweh Shai, but he did it through the apostles. You actually deny Yahweh Shai, man. And bring upon themselves swift destruction. See? And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. And that's what these guys do. They speak evil concerning the truth. All right? The man here at Great Millstone, see this guy, Yakanan, that devil, that demon, that monster, put up these different videos going after the men of the Lord. Well, that's an example of truth being evil spoken of. So yeah, man, the Spirit just got on me to do this lesson because, you know, these guys is false prophets. And, you know, we're not going to play it off with you, man. All right? We're gonna bring it out. All right? And like the Apostle Rakah said, the Spirit is on brothers, you know, to get on these guys, you know, and through the Spirit, we believe that the Heavenly Father, through his son Yahweh Shai, is about to start springing into action as concerning bringing judgment on these guys, man. So with that, shalom.